I come from one of the three most beautiful countries on earth. There is an explosion of life, thousands of multicolored species in the seas, on the skies, in the lands. I come from the yellow butterflies land and magic. There, in the mountains and valleys of all greens, not only the abundant rivers and bodies of water come down, they come down also torrents of blood. I come from a country where beauty has been bloody. My country is not only beautiful, there is also violence in there. But how can be violence conjugated with death? How can it burst out the biodiversity of life with the dances of death and horror? Who is responsible for breaking the enchantment of horror? What or who is responsible for running life in routinary decisions of wealth and interest? Who is leading them to destruction as a nation and as people? My country is beautiful because it has the Amazon, Chocos rainforest, the bodies of water, the Andes mountain range, and the ocean. There, in those jungles, planetary oxygen is released, and the atmospheric CO2 is absorbed. One of those plants that absorbs the CO2 among millions of species is one of the most persecuted on earth. At any cost, its destruction is being promoted. It is an Amazonian plant. It is the coca plant, sacred plant of the Incas. According to the irrational power of the world, it is not the Marques's fault that cuts back an existence. It is the jungle's fault, and of those who inhabit it. The war on drugs has lasted 40 years. If we do not correct the course and it goes on for another 40 years, America will see 2,800,000 young people die of overdose due to fentanyl, which is not produced in our Latin America. America will see millions of Afro-Americans becoming prisoners in America's private jails. The Afro-American prisoner will become in the business of prison companies. 1 million more Latin Americans will die murdered. They will fill our rivers and our green fields with blood. We'll see die the dream of democracy in my Latin America, as well as in Anglo-Saxon America. Democracy will die there where it was born, in the great European Western Athens. For hiding the truth, the jungle and democracies will die. The war on drugs has failed. The fight against the climate crisis has failed. Deadly drugs use has risen. From soft drugs, they have moved to harder ones. There has been a genocide in my continent, and in my country, they have condemned to prison millions of people to hide their own social faults. They have blamed the jungle and its plants. They have filled with unreason the species and policies. I am requesting from here, from my wounded Latin America, to end the irrational war on drugs, to reduce drug use. There is no need of war or weapons. It is needed that we all build a better society, a more caring society, more one-hearted, where the intensity of life saves from addictions and from new slaveries. If they want less drugs, so think about less profit and more love. Think about a rational exercise of power. Do not touch with your poisons the beauty of my homeland. Help us without hypocrisy. to save the Amazon rainforest, to save the life of humanity on the planet. You gathered the scientists, and they spoke with reason, with mathematics, in climatological patterns. They said that the end of the human species was near, that its time is no longer millennia, not even centuries. Science set the warning bells ringing, and we stopped listening to it. War was used as an excuse for us, for not taking the necessary actions, when actions were most needed, when speeches were no more useful, when it was indispensable to deposit the money in the fund to save humanity, when it was imperative to move away as soon as possible from coal and oil. They invented a war, and another, and another. They invaded Ukraine, but also Iraq, and Libya, and Syria. They invaded in the name of oil and gas. They discovered in the 21st century the worst of the addictions, the addiction to money and oil. Wars have served them as an excuse for not acting against the climate crisis. Wars have shown them how dependent they are on what will wipe out the human species. People filled with hunger and thirst are absurd, and they migrate by millions to the north, where the water is. Then you lock them up, build walls, set up machine guns, shoot them, expel them as if they were not human beings, quintuplicate the mentality of the one who created politically the gas chambers and the camps of concentration, reproduce on a planetary scale. 1933, the day of the great triumph, of the assault to the reason. Do they not see that the solution to the great exodus unleashed on their northern countries, it is not to return to the water filling the rivers and the fields to be filled with nutrients? Climate disasters fills us up with viruses that swarm, sweeping us away. But you do business with the medicines and turn vaccines into merchandise. You propose that the market will save us from what the market itself has created. The Frankenstein of humanity is in letting the market and greed act without planning, yielding brain and reason, kneeling the human rationality to greed. Why war? What we need is to save the human species. What is NATO for? And empires, if what is coming is the end of all intelligence. The climate disaster will kill hundreds of millions of people. And listen carefully, it is not produced by the planet. It is produced by capitalism. The cause of the climate disaster is consumerism, the logic of relating to each other to consume more and more, produce more and more, and for a few to make more and more. This is what produced climate disaster. They articulate the logic of extended accumulation of capital, the energy engines of coal and oil, unleashed the hurricane. The chemical change of the atmosphere ever deeper and more deadly. Now in a parallel world, the expanded accumulation of capital is an expanded accumulation of death. From the lands of jungle and beauty, there where they decided to make of an Amazonian jungle plant an enemy, extradite and imprison its farmers. I invite you to stop the war and to stop the climate disaster. Here in this Amazon rainforest, there is a failure of humanity. Behind the bonfires that burn it, behind its poisoning, there is an integral failure, civilizational failure of humanity. Behind the addiction to cocaine and drugs, behind the addiction to oil and coal, is the real addiction of this phase of human history, the addiction to irrational power, to profit and money. Here is the enormous daily machinery that can extinguish humanity. I propose to you, as president of one of the most beautiful countries of the earth and the most bloody and violent, to end the war on drugs and all wars, and allow our people to live in peace. I call on all of Latin America in this purpose. I summon the voice of Latin America to unite, defeat the irrational, the martyrs are. I call upon you to save the Amazon rainforest with the resources that can be allocated worldwide. If you do not have the capacity to finance the fund for the revitalization of the forest, if it weighs more to destine the money to the weapons than to life, then reduce the external debt to set free our own budgetary spaces, and with them carry out the task of saving humanity and life on the planet. We can do it ourselves if you in the North don't want to. Just trade debt for life. Just exchange debt for nature. I propose and I call upon you in Latin America to do so. Dialogue to end the war. Do not pressure us to order ourselves in the fields of war. It is time for peace. Let the Slavic peoples talk to each other. Let the peoples of the world do so. War is only a trap that brings the end of time closer in the great orgy of irrationality. From Latin America, we call on Ukraine and Russia for peace. Only in peace we can save life in this our common land. There is no total peace without social, economic, and environmental justice. We are at war also with the planet. Without peace with the planet, there will be no peace among nations. Without justice, there is no social peace. Thank you. Very kind of you to listen.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Republic of Colombia for the statement just made, and I request
Piñita TV.